This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Hey everyone, this is your host Ben of Tamara. Here I want to thank everybody who supports and listens to the show. Here we have a bonus episode with Trey and Steven going over the Final Fantasy IX, specifically going a little bit more in detail. These episodes will be going on monthly. The patrons will be getting it a month in advance before it comes here on the mainstream with all the other episodes. So if you want to support us at patreon.com/Final Fantasy Lorecast, you can get these episodes early. Thanks and enjoy.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to the Final Fantasy Lorecast, a podcast dedicated to the history and lore of the Final Fantasy series. Join us as we take a deep dive into the different worlds, characters, and so much more.
Welcome, everyone, to a special edition of the Final Fantasy Lorecast. I'm taking controls tonight. I'm your host for tonight, Trey Hill, and I'm joined, as always, by one of the friends, Steven, who, after this last week with Ben, we both felt the need. We had to just dive into Final Fantasy IX a little bit more.
Yeah, suck it, Ben. This is the one time it's just the two of us. We get to just gush about 9 for many parts. This is going to be more than 8 parts. Because cover like one tiny chunk at a time.
So if anyone who is listening to the beginning of this, if you're not in the Discord, I'm going to send a link in there to the YouTube video that I'm watching along with. I'm hoping Steven joins along because it's a no commentary version. So if you don't want to replay the game and you want to just follow along, it's 24 hours. So I don't expect everyone to watch it, but if you want to watch the first 48 minutes, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's the intro all the way into the crash scene. Also, spoilers for the whole game. We're not going to sugarcoat around anything. So if you don't want spoilers, check out now. Anything else? I think that's the disclaimers we've got.
That's it. We're not pulling punches. We're talking about spoilers from the start.
All right, and immediately from the start, because the intro video, like, it starts out with Princess Garnet. She's a kid. She's fleeing home with her mom. The waves are just rolling through. You can tell it's not a good situation. So she's fleeing her homeland with her mom, and then it zooms out, and it's a memory, and it's present day. She's looking out of her window. She's all dressed up. You can tell she's a princess in a castle. And it zooms out even further. Then we get the flying ship, the Prima Vista, the 9 version, not the 14 version, the Prima Vista theater ship, and a guy with a tail jumping down a fireman's pole. That's the intro. And I mean, so from the beginning, if you know what you're looking for, she's young and she's fleeing with her mom from, what's the name of the place? Matterhorn's
Sarai.
Sarai.
It's like Sari, and then it's whatever. There's no voice acting, so say the names however you want in this game.
Right. If you just listen to the 9 episode we did with Ben that went over the locations, it's where you meet Eco, and we're running with Eco. If you pronounce it a different way, sorry about you. But the intro video, just from the jump, everything looks so clean, so polished. It immediately establishes like the artwork and the style of gameplay that you're going to have, or not gameplay, but like the art style of the game when you're running around. And just like, I watched it again yesterday because I started this, and it's it's just an excellent intro, because if you don't know what that scene is at the beginning, you're just kind of confused. But her mom looks so much like her. I remember being young and thinking, not realizing she was the kid at first, thinking that she was the mom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't find out, and I think it's like disc 3. You don't find out what that scene actually is. You don't realize that that's. I mean, obviously, you put it together at the beginning that Garnet's mom is not her mom. Like the lady they're calling her mom is not her mom. They make it pretty obvious from the start. Um, and but you don't know who that is, what's going on. I don't think you even see everything on fire like you do later on in the game. You just see them in the hurricane in the boat.
Yeah, no, there's no fire. It's literally just her washing around in a boat with her
Yeah.
mom.
And so you don't.
And
And then as soon as it pops up to her, you're like, oh, she's having a nightmare. She's having a flashback, something like, or this is just a jump ahead. Like, whoa, now she's a princess in a castle. Crazy. But I like what you were mentioning, how you can see the artwork right from the start, how it's such it was, it's well known that it's a throwback and it's a love letter to all the previous games, because right from the start you see the steam powered ship, which is like completely different than what you got with 7 and 8, which were like futuristic, dystopian kind of.
they wanted to be modern and with the cool kids.
Yeah, and then 9 is like, this is Final Fantasy again. We're finally getting back. We got medieval, we got steamships, we got all the classic, what I consider JRPGs. I think most people consider JRPGs, where it's that high fantasy kind of setting.
Final Fantasy 7 and 8, they came out right around like 96 and 98, I think, without looking.
Over
and
here.
if you over here, it's the same time frame that the Matrix came out. So in my head, it's just that whole section of time, everything just wanted to be modern and cool, like just new, cutting edge. And it was really refreshing to be able to have that blast from the past with Final Fantasy 9. It was just such a unique and different setting than we were used to for those of us that started out on 7 and 8.
Yeah, 7 and 8, you had like at the time, every protagonist in any kind of Japanese style media, every protagonist had the spikiest of hair. They were just like, everything was super sharp edges and kind of hard and fast. Like, it was supposed to be like badass. And then that was a huge departure from the series before. So it was nice at 9 to see it get back. I'm a sucker for the traditional JRPG kind of elements, like 9 and 12, and 1 through 5. 6 gets a little iffy in parts, but yeah, like 1 through 5 and 12, and then parts of 10.
Yeah, but so just to keep moving a little bit, you see the guy with the tail jump down the fireman's pole, and then you are controlling Zidane from that point. You've got the candle in your hand, so you're just kind of walking around, and it's like the little tutorial where you go around. You have to light the candle in the middle of the room, I think, is how it advances. But if you go up, you can look and see that the ship's from Lindblom, which it's that first little hint that if you know things, this ship has been hired from Lindblom to come and kidnap Garnet. So know it's her Uncle Sid. Like, if you know the story beforehand, you can piece it together that these are little hints that it's her Uncle Sid that is having her kidnapped.
I thought you were going to say you go up there and you get the potion and the Phoenix down.
And
the money.
Naturally, you go up and get the Phoenix down and the potion. But no, I always like that little tidbit where you can see where it's registered, because it's just a little hint and it's a little detail.
Yeah, 9 does an excellent job of hiding in these like little, it's like the interactive things that you can go click on and read, and it's just gives you little bits here and there. Like there's that, for instance, there's a lot of there's quotes throughout the game that you can go pick things up. Like if you look at an item, there's a quote at the bottom of the screen attached to it, and a lot of it is like from Ibsen, whose castle you go to later. He was just like an adventurer, and he had a lot of like really good quotes. I'll try and look up one of them while you continue, but they do a really good job of sneaking those things in there.
Yeah, so you light the candle, and your boss Baku comes in. He's wearing like a dragon head, and you have to fight him for the first battle, your little intro into how things work. You beat him up, you knock the thing off of his head. You make sure to steal his stuff. You always have to steal in this game, and that makes sense. Zidane's a thief,
Mhm.
but so after you knock him out, you guys go off into the side room, and that's where Baku goes over the plan. And if you want to just be a menace to society, you can answer wrong that you have to kidnap Queen Braun over and over. I think if you do it 100 times, he flips out or something. Um,
Get that
that's
fat
always
ass butt ugly Queen Ronnie. Incredible
yeah.
line.
That another one of those little fun things, and I think that's what I noticed watching these first 48 minutes is there's so much comedy that they try and weave in, and it's such a far leap from 7 and 8 and just this serious I'm all about it. It's such a great vibe for me in terms of a video game. But yeah, so you meet up with them, you go through the plan, you're there, you're gonna put on a play, and Zidane's gonna kidnap the princess while the play is the distraction.
Yes,
I think that's where you meet.
Canary.
Yeah, and so we've already met our boys Marcus, Blank, and Senna,
Hmm.
who I'm kind of sad that we didn't play as much. Like we got to play with them quite a bit. I think Marcus is even still in your party in disc 2,
Yeah.
but I still want I love them. And I know this is about the last game, but if we do get a remake and they do expand a little bit on the world, I hope we get more of them like we got more of Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge in 7's remake.
I would definitely prefer those three over Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Personally, I think Marcus in Baku as well. Like all of the Tantalus crew are great, even the Nero brothers. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Cinna is there's points later in the game whenever it's one of the what did they call the ATEs when
Yeah, I was gonna bring those up later.
it shows them at, I want to say it's at Northgate, and they're hanging out by it's a gate with the water flowing, and they're like, all right, it's time to make coffee. Just like those little scenes like that, I think are what really sets this game apart. Is like just a little quick, like it's not huge implications, but it's like, oh, that's fun. I'm
It's
enjoying
world
myself.
building.
Yeah.
They build out the world so well. And I love that you mentioned the active time events. I was going to bring them up at the end because you get your very first one at the very end of what we're discussing. But I love that they add so much to the game for me going through it because yeah, you're Zidane, you're Cloud, you're Squall, you're the main character in these games, but having this chance to build out the world, like you said, to see what else is going on at the same time, I feel like that adds so much depth to the story, to the characters. It just makes the world feel more real, whereas you're not just a train on a track.
Yeah. And they're usually like 30 seconds to a minute. So they're not taking over the game or anything. It's just like a little quick, like, oh, hey, this is going on with this character. Oh, did you forget that they were still around? Yeah, this is what they're doing right now. Because I remember thinking that a few times, like, oh, hell yeah, I remember that person. What's going on with them? Oh, they're, part-time worker Mary. She's looking for the guy or whatever. And it shows like flashbacks just randomly. And some of the times you have to go through the town or area that you're in a specific way in order to get all of them. But if you're playing it, I highly recommend, if you're playing it, especially if you beat it before and you want to watch all the ATEs, go through with a guide, because they'll usually tell you like you got to go through this door and then go back to that door, so that way you can watch them all, because a lot of them are just like you said, they add so much to the game.
We'll see when the remake does come out. I'm gonna have to do just that. But all right, so
I mean, 16 tried to do that, but just not as effectively.
I don't feel, and it was almost like a dictionary.
Yeah. It was literally
Like
like an encyclopedia. It was awful.
and don't get me wrong, I think I think there were times that was very helpful for me.
Hmm.
Like even for this, you mentioned you went through the timeline beforehand and the Final Fantasy IX timeline and how interesting the story before the story is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the place where if you pressed your little pad while you were in Alexandria and you could pull up the little the little blurb history, and it gave you the rundown of what happened before. I think that's where it would be cool. But having these ATEs, just it was completely different. It was a different level, and most of them were optional. So it wasn't like you felt forced, like you had to go sit through this cutscene over. Like it was just this little quick in and out thing.
Yeah.
But all right, so you go over the plan with Baku. You can answer wrong, and then we get to meet Vivi. It goes to the CGI scene where he's looking up and he's walking through. The crowd is bustling around him. You can tell it's a pretty busy area. He gets knocked down. He gets picked back up, and then you see that little asshole Puck run into him. You don't realize it's Puck yet, but you see that little asshole Puck run into him.
Yeah.
And it's just the perfect way to meet Vivi because he's just stumbling along. He's just often, he's doing his own thing, and he's just the best.
He is great. I don't put him as high up as I think a lot of people, even though 9 is my favorite game. He's not. He is one of the reasons why I love the game, but I've always been a Zidane guy. He's always been why I love the game so much. But I do appreciate Vivi I always called him Vivi, but
well, I'll try to do Vivi. I always called him Vivi. I don't know why.
Call him whatever. I know it's I know it's Vivi because he was in Kingdom Hearts 2, and so there is actual pronunciation for his name. But
okay.
Sometimes I'll slip and say Vivi. But yeah, his story arc overall is obviously it's super important for the game, for the first 3/4 of the game, and then just how it ends there at the Black Mage Village, how it kind of concludes is like, great stuff.
I am a huge fan of Vivi. I think you make an excellent point, though, that Zidane, being the leading man that he is, Vivi isn't as endearing if you don't have those moments with Zidane. With Zidane not having a wall up like Cloud or Squall would, and just being able to have those moments like, hey, we're going to pee off the cliff together. Or
Right.
Even when they meet him. So we're going to get there in a little bit, but Vivi casts fire and he's down, and Zidane, while they're running away with the princess, like they're trying to get out with their job, he stops and he's like, hey, kid, are you all right? Like Zidane from the get-go is taking an interest, and he's making sure to take care of Vivi, and their relationship through it all, and the way Zidane is there to comfort him as Vivi and you and me as all these, young teenage kids learning about fucking death and shit like that through stuff like this. It's like Zidane was guiding us through, yeah, you're gonna die and you just got to deal with it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's basically the opposite of Cloud and Squall from the previous 2 games, where he's just like he's just there to protect everybody, and he's not Billy Badass where he's just trying to be super cool all the time. He's just he cares about people, he's trying to protect people, and he loves the ladies. That's what he's about.
So I've got this the Ultimania thing here, and at the very beginning it's just got quotes, and I'm trying to show Steven, you guys can't see this, but at the very beginning it's got quotes, and you can tell one of them is from Cloud, one of them is from Squall, and one of them is from Zidane. I'm going to read these to you, and I bet even though I'm going to go in order, you can tell just the tone of people. So Cloud's is the master of my own illusionary world, but I can't remain trapped in an illusion anymore. I'm going to live my life without pretending. Fitting, good.
Yeah.
Exactly like Cloud. Squall's is, I know what I want and what I have to do. There's still a chance. I'm not going to look back. I'm taking Renoa with me. Again, perfect for Squall. He's come of age. He realized what he's after, and it's just him and Renoa. But Zidane's is, even if we lose, it doesn't matter. Our memories will live on inside others. So even if we are born to die, I'm not afraid. I'm going to live. And it's not about himself. It's not about just his girl. It's about all of the relationships he's built. It's about everyone in his life. And I think it just encapsulates how important people are to Zidane.
Yeah. And
from the jump.
And they don't beat you over the head with it, how he cares. I mean, yeah, they'll show you little moments like you just mentioned with Vivi, they'll also sprinkle things in about Zidane. They don't make it like everything is about Zidane. Like, I promise I'm not trying to shit on Seven, but like how everything is about Cloud. How it's like, oh, what's Cloud doing? What's Zidane? He is there, and yes, he is the leader of the group for the most part. They kind of just drop things here and there with the Vivi thing, with later in the game when you meet Amarant, and it shows how those two met for the first time, and Zidane is just like outsmarts him, and by what he does, I forget how exactly he goes, but he basically pretends that Amarant actually stole the stuff when Zidane was the one, and he's the guy. Amarant wants to fight him, and he goes, "Why?" The sly eagle hides his talons. Basically, it's something along those lines. So it's just little tidbits like that, and it's not constantly hitting you over the head. That's why I think I appreciate him so much. He's kind of a underrated, great protagonist in the series.
I did see on the Final Fantasy subreddit he was voted the best protagonist. So we aren't the only ones who have love for Zidane. But so you meet Vivi. He finds out that his tickets a fake. They give him cards. Card game immediately introduced in 9. I feel like they saw how amazing H card game was and how much everyone loved it, and they were like, okay, we got to get everyone on the card game immediately for 9.
What if we took Tetra or Triple Triad and made it horrible?
But I mean, I feel like it's the very first thing you get. They're like, here, have some cards. Go learn how to play cards. Please learn how to play cards. And I'm just like, you think this is 8, don't you?
I mean, it's a main storyline that you have to have the cards. I don't think you have to. I only think you have to win like 1 or 2. So just by luck, you'll probably end up winning because you pick up cards through battles. You don't necessarily have to actually play the card game to get better cards. You'll just pick them up randomly through random encounters. Yeah.
I really enjoyed how it was like immediately, here, have cards, here, play the card game. It was just like during the intro of the game, they were already trying to get you to jump right into that. But so he does that. Then they tell you to go look for what's his name, something Jack. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. Alleyway Jack. So you're going around, you throw off the guy who's hanging up the sign, and then that little guy who ran into you at the beginning comes back to you, and he talks you into stealing the ladder and becoming his slave. So you climb up the ladder, you run across the rooftops, and you make it into the castle. So that way you can go and watch this play that's being put on by Zidane and his homies. I really enjoyed the ladder scene. You carry the ladder and you go to climb up, and that's where you get introduced to the Moogles and the save points and Stencilton, or however you say his name.
I always just called him Stiltskin.
Stiltskin, the mailman.
Yeah.
I know you are a hater of everything cute and cuddly.
It's true.
What were your thoughts on the Moogles? Because like you go to climb the ladder and it falls down on you, and it's just so cute and adorable. And I just imagine you're throwing up in your mouth, and you get to save, and you even get to save before you name Vivi. And I always love that first save when it's just question mark for the name. But how did you feel about the Moogles?
I didn't care for them. The only ones I liked in the game were the ones that you meet in Gizmaluk's grotto, the newlyweds. That's a fun little thing that they do there. The guy busts out of the bell to get the Kupo nut. It's about the only time I enjoyed any cute and cuddly creature in Final Fantasy.
I'm glad to see the soft side coming out in you. It's
just the one part,
nice.
And then they have kids later in the game when you go back.
Look at how cute this is getting with Steve over here. Ben's missing out.
He is.
So So you see Stillskin, they go to watch the thing, and then it goes back to the CGI. You see Garnett just looking sad and despondent. And then I think this is the first time you see Steiner. He's like on
Right next
guard
to her.
behind her, just looking down. And he's
He looks
looking. There you go, concerned. I was going to say it's not like maybe a little worried, but concerned is the perfect word for it. And he's just looking down. And I think that's the point. I have it here. You can do the battle with Zidane and Blank, and you can try and get the 100 people clapping for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do like you go through the play. I think the first part of the play, where it shows it's basically Romeo and Juliet, and then Blank and Zidane turn in the play. They turn on each other, and you have to perform this little what are those things called at the quick time event. It's basically like quick time event on steroids. It's you press this button, press this button, press this button, and you have to do it perfectly in order and quickly. And if you do well, you get an approval score. If you get all the way 100, you get a shit ton of money to start off with, which is really helpful at first.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Jack shot in 10 with the things popping up on the screen.
Yes.
And you got to hit the right.
Yeah, which that one I didn't know how to do for the longest time. I literally had to watch a YouTube video on it.
But so you do the fight. You can please Queen Braun. All right, there, Blank and Zidane, they're getting in disguise. So they go and they're getting all dressed up, and they immediately give you a little bit more of Zidane's personality, because he's like, I don't want to put this helmet on. It's smelly. And Blank immediately is like, everything about this sucks, man. What are you doing? Put the helmet on.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're doing. And Zidane's just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, he goes through the breakdown. He's like, I got pit stains. I got this one stinks. Whatever. Like my gloves are slimy. Just do it. Suck it up. Blank and Zidane have that is the one thing, is that I wish we had more Blank and Zidane throughout the game. They have such limited interactions, but when they do, it's a 10 every time they're interacting.
God, you're right. So they get in disguise, they run up the steps, and Garnett in her hood comes rushing out. Zidane looks at her a little bit, and he says he knows it's her, so he's looking at her, and she runs past him, and he does the twirl. Even the comedy. I enjoy the silliness of it all. It makes me laugh. She goes running off. They go chasing after him.
I will say one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One of the best things about 9 is how much they get that comedy in there to break up a lot of the harsh, because there's some really, really dark moments in 9, and you don't think of it that way from, if you're just thinking about 9, you're not thinking, oh, what a dark game. There's a ton of really dark shit that goes on in this game, but they do such a great job of breaking it up with little comedic moments, like with the ATEs, or, just interactions with Zidane and Garnett a lot of the time. But yeah, it's the little comedic things like you're talking about, where they do like the spinning around.
And speaking of comedy, is there a better comedic duo in Final Fantasy? I know everybody loves Biggs and Wedge. Zorn and Thorn. This is where we get our first taste of Zorn and Thorn. It's the blue jester and the red jester.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just talking back and forth. One talks regular, the other talks like Yoda.
Yeah. Whatever one says, the other one says it in reverse. It's a lot of fun.
So they go rushing in. Steiner won't let him talk to the queen. Beatrix is like, well, what's going on? And one of them says, a veritable emergency of terrible urgency. And I love that line. And she lets him through. Braun sends Steiner and Beatrix. She forgets Steiner's name. That's the excuse to name him.
Yeah.
She forgets his name, but she sends them both with their crews after Garnett to find her. And this is where you find out that the women run the show in Alexandria, and the Knights of Pluto and Steiner, they're just kind of bumbling idiots. Yeah, I think is what I wrote down.
Which is odd, because I read the Ultimania timeline before, and what's funny is like you look at Steiner and he's just this goofball who's always screwing up, and he never seems like an intimidating knight. But like pre-game, before you're playing the game starts in 1800. It's like 7 years before that or something. There's a lot of wars between Alexandria and Lindblom, and the reason Steiner becomes a Knight of Pluto is he gets saved by a Knight of Pluto, and he's like, oh, okay, well now I want to be one. They're the best. And he becomes captain by beating Beatrix one-on-one in a sword fight. And throughout the game, they'll tell you how badass Beatrix is. You'll find out because you'll get your ass kicked by her many times before you actually get her on your side. But they talk about how she's the best swordswoman in the land. And it turns out Steiner became captain by beating her one-on-one.
Well, that would have came in handy if he had done that a few more times later in the game.
Wouldn't it?
I feel like that's Steiner getting a lucky duel in. And have you watched It's Always Sunny?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when Mac gets entered into the karate tournament and he gets the point because he blocks the kick.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got a point, and then he gets his ass kicked the rest of the time. I feel like Steiner won like a round, and he just had like that was the whole thing. And he was just like, oh, I beat her, I'm the captain now. And then if they fought like the next 100 times, she just whooped his ass all 100 times.
Yeah.
But he got that one, and the one is what mattered.
The one is what matters. I do like that they did that in the Ultimania. Like, this is how he became captain. Like, all right, well, where was he the rest of the game then? They were talking about how she beat over 100 men by herself on the battlefield, and they're like, all right, well, there's this Moo that is kicking our ass out here because Steiner is not that strong. What is going on? Is he holding back? What is it?
I actually didn't know that until you just brought it up. That's how he got his captain position, is that he bested her one-on-one.
I didn't.
Once you said it, I feel like they mention it in the game at all? Because maybe I heard it a long time ago then, and I just forgot. But it was like it jogged this little memory I had. But that's wild that Steiner was able to beat her. Well, it had to just be he got a lucky hit in, because the way she just beats your ass consistently, like. I remember being so intimidated by her. Like when I would see her show up, I would be legitimately intimidated. It felt like a real boss fight.
And this was before I was aware of scripted losses in RPGs too. So I kept losing, and I was like, damn it. Yeah, I would turn it off right as like I was about to lose and restart it again. And like, why can't I beat her? What do I have to do? Do I have to go back and get? No, you can't ever be strong enough to beat her.
Yeah, that's one.
I think actually you can, but as soon as you get her to like her HP threshold, she just does the climb hazard and you're toast.
Yeah, she just wipes you out.
Yeah.
But they do such a good job with her, and they really, I feel like they build her up to be a good threat. Like they do it. I mean, they do it with the waltzes too. But I feel like Beatrix is a really underrated side character that has a lot more depth, because eventually she ends up on our side. There's a lot to her character that we'll get into later once we see it. But I think she is just super underrated, even in a game as underrated as I think she's even underrated in it.
I agree, and she has the best music too. The Roses of May. If you're listening to this now and you want something to listen to afterwards, go listen to Roses of May. You can even listen to a lot of the covers. It's primo stuff.
Or we'll see how my editing skills are. I might throw in 10 seconds of it right about here, so that way people can hear it on here, because that whole we're talking about it. This is like, it's not like we're using it for promotional purposes. So if Mass Effect can do it, we can do it. Ben's not here to tell me no. So really that's the key to all this. Ben isn't here to worry about it, so I'm just gonna fucking do it.
It's also behind a paywall, so you gonna
That's
pay
fair.
for it, Square?
If we get a cease and desist over that, and Ben has that to rub my nose in for forever, I might just have to go walk off a cliff. All right, so you meet you do the Beatrix thing. She gets Zorn and Thorn to go. She gets Zorn and Thorn to talk to Braun to find out that she's missing. She sends Beatrix and Steiner, and then you play as Steiner running around trying to find your I think it's 6 Knights of Pluto that you have to round up to go look.
Mhm. Yeah,
One of my least favorite parts of the game.
Is
I
it?
hate, like I hate to admit it. It's because it's fun. Like when I first did it, it was fun. There's a lot of they do add a little character to pretty much all of the Knights of Pluto. There's a lot going on with it, but it's just so much running back and forth around the thing I've played the game now, so I'm just so excited to get into it that I'm just like, God, I don't want to run around as Steiner. I just want to watch him get up to the top and watch them ride the things down.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it because the interactions with him and the Knights of Pluto the Knights of Pluto are hilarious. They're
good.
Yeah, they don't respect him even a little bit.
No. The
whatever.
one, there's one, he's like, I want to be an author. I don't want to do this anymore. Can I just leave? Like he asks you if you can leave. You have the option to tell him yes. In the Let's Play I'm watching, he told him no.
Yeah,
but I
he
love that
cried.
you can. Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Another one of those little moments. I'd say up until you get to parts with Brawny later in the game, everything with Steiner is pretty comedic because he's just over the top, like overprotective and super serious. Like he is super serious, but everything he says is goofy and funny. It's an incredible job they do.
Are you saying he's the Dwight Schrute comedic relief?
He is the Dwight Schrute. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he wants to do good, but everybody gets it over him. Everybody's getting over him.
There's Jim and Zidane just busting Sir Rust-a-Lot's balls.
Yeah, Rusty. Old Rusty.
All right, so yeah, so he gets up the tower and he sees Zidane and Garnet running on the opposite side out the tower, like looking at them. Everything's decorated for the play and the big celebration and the festival. So they've got like the big streamers things. They grab those and they ride them down. I think Steiner does it also, doesn't he? And he smacks the wall.
Crashes into the wall, yeah. Like a Looney Tune.
Yeah, so he crashes in like a Looney Tune. You've got Zidane who crashes in and he's looking for Garnet, who then falls down on top of him and is there for like she's there for like a good 15 seconds. Zidane had plenty of time to get up and get her, but again, the comedy of it all. She falls flat on top of him. He's just sprawled out. She runs, I think, to the north as the band is playing. It looks like the band on the Titanic as they're going down. She runs to the north. Later. Can't get out, runs back south and gets away. And Zidane she jumps over him as she runs south to get to the door. Yeah. And it's just, I loved every bit of the beginning. They nailed the first hour of this game.
Yeah.
So she runs through there. And that's when she runs into Ruby. I have her in here as the Southern gal because she calls her darling and just everything about it is that Southern drawl thing. So Ruby holds her up long enough for Zidane to catch up to her. And then she holds Zidane up while she escapes. It's again, a great moment. You get to meet Ruby, you get to understand her role in Tantalus and just what she's doing. And that at that point, that's when Garnet asks Zidane to be kidnapped. Like he chases her down, and then she's like, "Will you please kidnap me?" And Zidane is, of course.
Absolutely. Anything to help a lady in need.
Anything for his damsel in distress.
Yes.
So they do that. Senna comes in, and then Steiner catches up to him finally, and he's got him cornered. You get one of his Knights of Pluto is there with him, and you guys run to the side room. So you and Garnet, where she asked to be kidnapped, it's at the candle where you light it up at the very beginning of the game. So it's coming full circle. You get there, you with Senna, you run into that side room where you plan the thing, and you take the escape hatch and that Knights of Pluto is blank, and he clogs it up for you. And Steiner is, of course, just, oh, whatever. But he can't be mad because none of the Knights of Pluto respect him enough. Any of them would have done that.
True. Well, he purposely like lays on it, and you can see him. He's like a roach on its back. He's like wiggling back and forth, clogging the hole. He's like, oh no, I'm stuck.
Well, I've always pictured a turtle,
That
not a
works
roach,
too.
but
That
to
works
each their
too, yeah.
own.
Yeah, whichever thing gets stuck on their back. But yeah, so that gives you a little bit of time, which he catches up with you awful quick. Blank does not do a very good job clogging that hole. He get down there in a hurry.
I mean, Steiner's pretty motivated. He's a big guy. Like you said, he beat Beatrix. He's not a man to be trifled with.
So they say, yeah.
Yeah, so like he catches up, and I think Blank in the night suit is fighting with you and Senna and Garnett. And if you get to where you win, Steiner goes to do his limit break or whatever, trance, I think is what it's called. But his big move, and he does it on Blank. It busts the suit open, and the Oglops plop out from the plan, and Steiner is just freaked out from Oglops. And that's what ends the fight. And I enjoyed that. And there's another fight with the bomb. I like how some of the fights, when it's just for the story. Like, you get the fighting in it, but it's really just to see Steiner bust him open, to have the Oglops come busting out, to give the story the excuse to continue.
Yeah, and it's also it's slowly introducing you to the combat system, low pressure stakes. Like, yeah, you can, I guess, technically lose here, but you're probably not going to. It just lets you run through the different moves that you're going to have, basically. And I think this is, you also, once you get up, you get VV up there as well. So you're also learning how to use magic at the same time.
Yeah, you get VV for that last one with the bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're fighting Steiner, and it's great. They do the old classic, there's something behind you, but there is actually something behind him, and he's like, nah, I'm not falling for that one. Turns out there's a big giant bomb behind you.
And I love how in the other games bombs are just a regular enemy, and they might be in this game too after it. But so you get on stage, you go through all that. Vivi catches her on fire. They find out they're kidnapping the princess. So Braun is like, stop the ship, as they're running off, and they start shooting the harpoons into it, trying to pull it in and hold it back. And you see that it holds up. So like you can play that for a PS5 game, and it would be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do so well with it, with the art style. It's so crisp, it's so clean, it's perfect. And so they have that scene, but in the video it shows this big cannon coming out from Alexandria, like the castle, and you think it's just going to shoot this fucking huge thing that's going to blast the ship completely. And it's the bomb, and it shoots the bomb out, and it's got its face, and then boom, you go into the fight with Steiner. I thought the way they presented the bomb to be this huge threat from the castle itself, it made this, like, I know it's just a bomb for us regular adventurers, but for the everyday man, something like that is considered just this huge weapon.
It's got to be pretty terrifying to look at. You're just on the ship, and you're like, oh shit, look at that thing.
I did love how they tried to tell him there's something behind you, and he just wouldn't listen. Even to Garnett, like Garnett tried to tell him, and he was just like, no, it's not happening. So you fight the bomb, it goes off, the ship crashes, and the princess is missing. So Zidane is, of course, going to go look for him. You see Braun send the project from Zorn and Thorn to get Garnett. Zorn and Thorn say it can get Garnett. It's powerful enough to kill her. And Braun immediately says, no, I need her alive. But it sets the stage that Garnett is not only suspicious, but clearly she's not, like, her life isn't valued other than what they need it for.
Right.
So it makes it very clear from the jump, Queen Braun doesn't have good intentions in trying to bring her back. Because at first, even when they try, all the harpoons go into the shit. Like, you're kidnapping her daughter, her adopted daughter. But at that point, you can still justify it. But at this is the point where you're like, oh no, this is clear. Like, she's clearly the bad on the wrong side.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of see it whenever she first finds out that Garnet is gone. When Zorn and Thorn came in and tell her, she's like, "All right, we'll go get her." Like, she's run away. It's not like the usual, like, oh, those darn kids. She's like, whatever. She clearly has disdain or doesn't care. She's got just a lack of.
Well, I gotta tell you, I've got a 15-year-old teenage girl.
Yeah, I got a 12.
And I've taken her some places, and I can see the look of disappointment and boredom and disgust, and her just wandering off for an hour.
Yeah,
I can see me having the same reaction as Queen Braun, just being like, all right, just go find her, just go figure out where she's at, what she's just figure it out, just go get it done. I'm watching a play, I got stuff going on.
That's an excellent point. I didn't consider that before, but that is an excellent point.
But you're right.
Look at it differently.
It is a little suspect because she doesn't have that concern. But up until that point, like, just rewatching, I'm like, okay, you don't know she's evil yet. You don't know that she's on the wrong. But at that point, it's very clear you're doing the right thing by kidnapping Garnet and getting her out of there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I always got a nasty vibe. Like, the second you see her, you're like, no, that's a bad person. This is not.
Yeah.
This is not what good people in these games look like.
Well, not only that, but her dialogue is she's dismissive of Steiner. She's full of herself. They make her dialogue to where it's very clear she's not a good person.
They want you to know that she's the bad guy from the start. So that way you don't really pay attention to other things going on, yada yada behind the scenes.
The bad guys here, don't look over here.
Yes. Classic Final Fantasy, where, like, this is the bad guy. Your local bad guy is obviously a bad guy. He's over the top. And then the actual big bad is just kind of waiting over there for you, being sneaky.
I wonder if there were people who loved 6 and then they played 9 and they thought Zorn and Thorn were going to be like the big bads, like Kefka, the clowns.
They were annoying the first time you fight them.
They were annoying, and I think every episode that we talk about them, I'm gonna have to have at least one of their quotes, because I love their character and they're so memorable. Like, I remember them 2 decades later.
Yeah. Oh, the best quotes, and you have to say both versions of it as well.
I'll do that next time. I didn't want to be too over the top with them, because my Zorn and Thorn love is a bit irrational, but I enjoy them so much. They're just so dumb and fun. But that's where we're gonna stop, though, because so Braun sends the project out from Zorn and Thorn. Zidane's going to look for Garnet in the forest, and Garnet and Vivi are walking in the forest, and Vivi yells, "Watch out!" and then boom, it cuts off. And that's like the start of, that's the end of the intro, I feel like. And now the game is kicking up.
Basically, yeah. I forget who says it's one of my favorite lines, and they say, "Oh no, I think she got squished."
It's one of the Nero brothers.
One of the Nero brothers? Okay. Yeah.
And then Sene goes, "First we kidnap her, then we kill her. We're gonna hang for sure."
Yeah. Oh, Sene's underrated in this game. He's awful to fight with, but God, he's a lot of fun watching him in the ATEs and such.
I need more Tantalus in my life.
Absolutely. That is the only way I'll accept a remake, is they give us, like, even if they have to give us like a whole Tantalus DLC where we get to play like the whole crew. Oh, that'd be incredible. I'll accept a remake then. Whatever they have to do to it, they'll butcher it. Don't you worry.
Rumor is they want it to be turn-based.
Good.
And I'm sure they will butcher parts, but if they can at least have some good with the bad and add stuff like more Tantalus, then I will enjoy the good and ignore the bad.
And for the love of all that's holy, please don't make it action. Like, don't make it action combat. We've seen 2 in a row now that have just been wet stains in your underwear. They've just awful. Just please don't do action combat anymore.
You thought Rebirth was awful? You thought it was a wet fart?
I'm not counting. No, not Rebirth and Remake. I'm talking about 15 and 16.
Oh.
Because Rebirth and Remake have, it's closer to 12. You know, you've got your timer on your attack. It's not button mashy. Like,
I mean, I feel like 16 was 16 instead of having the ATB and you do your abilities, it had the
cooldown.
But on 7 you have your teammates. 16 and 7, the play style, the gameplay for me feels a lot like very similar just in terms of style, but you have your teammates in 7, and having your party adds everything in Final Fantasy game. You have to have your party. And we didn't talk about it, but you get 4 people in the party in 9, which I love having 4 people in a party.
It's optimal. It's much better than 3. Way better than 1.
Oh yeah, way better than 1. Better than it's the optimal. You got your 2 DPS, your healer, and your tank. It's the standard operating procedure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, you got anything else to add before I wrap this? Before I hit end on this?
Not on this one. We got where this is going to be a year-long endeavor, I imagine. So we'll have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, part 1. I think we're going to try and do these. I don't know, maybe once a month would be my guess, to try and that way we don't put too much pressure on ourselves. That way we have plenty of time to go back, watch, and look into and see what was going on, because there are so many little details, there are so many little things, and we got the Black Waltzes coming here real quick.
We do.
So
we got big towns coming up that we're going to be exploring, and we've got a lot to talk about with them.
We're going to have a whole episode just with me marking out over Dolly and how much I love I can't get over how much I love the scene when you're just looking down over the town and Dagger is just like, oh, I need a name. I don't know what it is about that scene.
That is an incredible scene. Little moments like that is what make the game so great.
And little moments like that are why 20 years later, me and you are here talking about it, and we just can't help ourselves. So for anyone listening to this, thank you for still listening this long into the episode of us just word vomiting our love for 9. And you got anything else before we get out of here?
That's it. Just see you next month. That's all.
And do the remake right.
Do the remake right. If you make it.
If you make it.
Thank you for listening to the Final Fantasy Lorecast. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net. You can find us on Twitter at FFLorecast, and you can email us at fflorecast@gmail.com.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Shop up to 40% off with minimum purchase and a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Plus, pay at your own pace starting at 0% APR with Affirm. Terms apply.